Now we are having our Fireside chat. Here's why Agfa is eyeing mobile publishing. We are going to meet Rainer Kirschke, who's the business manager mobile publishing at Agfa, together later with Thomas Schultz-Homberg. He's the head of electronic media at the FAZ in Germany. They will talk about FAZ Plus and about the collaboration between them, which seems to be highly fruitful. Why this is the case, we are going to know in a minute. So very welcome on stage. Almost. Give us a minute together here. Here you go. No, he's coming in a second. Okay, this is Rainer Kirschke already from Agfa.
Nice to meet you.
We are going to have the FAZ by the side in a second.
It's on its way. Hi.
Okay, heard already. Okay, very warm welcome.
Sorry for
No problem.
delay. So can I show you something? Hope so. Should be not. They are starting it from the back, the app on the iPad. Okay, no, there's no connector as requested. Yeah, but we will manage to do without. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I'm going ahead? Okay, I'm going ahead. So, what is FAZ Plus? And why did we do this with Agfa Eversify technology? First of all, I would like to show you, or would have liked to show you on the big screen, but I will show it to you like this. FAZ Plus is a new digital newspaper provided by FAZ that has more a multimedia approach than a traditional e-paper, as you all know, is a facsimile of the printed edition. FAZ Plus is the attempt to reach new target groups which were not raised with a newspaper at their homes, which were raised with internet experience, who learned to navigate through news via a browser and not via a paper. And that was the idea, to grab the content of the FAZ, of the traditional newspaper, and bring it into a new shape in order to show younger people how interesting a newspaper can be, and that it's even worth to pay for. So what did we do? We made an all-over new design and user experience strategy, and did this with a design agency from Germany. So this is how FAZ Plus looks. It looks a little, I will come to the corner of the stage. It looks a little like like a website, and if you use it, you do it by scrolling. You can swipe as well between the sections, for example, or if you are in the article section, you can swipe article by article. And this is quite the same way you use news apps that are provided for free, but not without worthy content, I assume. What we did is we worked with big pictures, what is not typical for a paper like FAZ, which is more famous for not providing too many pictures. So we were using big pictures to get the internet experience and slightly way of storytelling for the younger people we are aiming at. For those who do not like to read too much in a row, we provided a little short view of FAZ, the most important things, and this is one of the functions that are mostly used. So people like this, not to be driven into this long read format and having to navigate through the whole paper. No, people just click here on the symbol, and you get a quick view over everything what is most important in the paper. And when you get through the sections here, you see the first 3 or 4 most important things. For example, this is about a Berlin sports club here. The old lady is awakened. And that is you get directly into the article view that you're used to when you click on an article. You can get back anytime by returning to the quick overview section. So this is a very high appreciated feature. The rest is no rocket science. It's just about design and web navigation. That's what we wanted to make clear. This is still a newspaper, and this is high priced. So this is available for just 40 euros a month, which is quite a bold price for if you target to younger target groups. But what we assume is that it is worth, and we are quite sure that people who are willing to consume high quality premium content will be ready to pay for that. It's about 4 weeks ago, and we have a high number of test readers who do not pay yet. They have 4 weeks for free to get the experience, and now we come to the turning point where we will experience how many of them are willing to pay for it over a long term. But the first figures we see are quite possible, quite bold, and we are very confident that this will work in the market. So this looks like a lot of work to produce such an edition. And that was the question when we decided to start this project. How can we manage to do this without 20 extra people in the editorial stuff and maybe as many in the publishers section? So what did we do? We searched for a technology that enables us to have a small team that can do this work. So what we finally managed is that we only have 3 people who are producing this edition day by day and who are updating this edition day by day. They enrich it with some videos and some additional pictures, some multimedia stuff. And they, before it is published in the evening, they have a last look on it if everything is proper, and then press the publish button. This was possible by the technology of Eversify, which is behind this, provided by Agfa Graphics. The idea is to have a very high automated process to get to this. So for the first step, nothing is done manually to produce FAZ+. It's just an XML feed from the print content management system that comes to Eversify, and Eversify is transferring this information into this edition. And as we only need 3 people over the whole day to produce this, you can imagine that there is not so much work to do to make it proper in the evening. There might be some headlines too long or too short, or some pictures that are not positioned perfectly, and that's what you do. It's a little shape work, but it's not from the scratch. So this is a very small team that makes a pricey looking and very quality related edition for a audience that we hope that will come in masses to the good old newspaper back. So let's see what happens, but we're quite confident. What you can do is not only reading it on a tablet, because some of you might think this would be not enough, and that's what the same thing that we've made our minds up as well. You have it on a smartphone in the same edition. and you have it responsive, so there's no extra work to do for the smartphone edition. If you have it published once, it will be parallel available on both smartphone and tablet, and it is available on iOS and on Android, and will be available in a web edition that works with all desktop and mobile browsers in the future in some weeks. So even if you have a Windows tablet or Windows smartphone, or some of you might still have a BlackBerry, if anybody has something like that still, he will be able to use it in the same way with the same experience. There will be very few differences between the native apps on Android and iOS and the web edition. And the web edition as well will be available for desktop browsers. I guess I mentioned that because that's important as well. So you can use FAZ Plus without a mobile device. You can use it on your desktop as well if you like to do. So this will come up in some weeks. So since it is free for 4 weeks, and even those among you who are not capable of the German language, just try. It's free, and make your experience. And those who are Germans, subscribe. Just a little marketing. No, but just look at it, make your own experience with it. Any feedback is very highly welcome, because it's a first attempt for us in this direction too. But I think this could be a part of future of news if we come to the point that we can produce new editions without too many extra stuff in the editorial and the technology area, so that we have the opportunity to fit many channels without too many people to employ. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we have some slides from you, Mr. Kirschke, two questions from my part. Yeah. Is personalization a subject in any way in this context?
It might be. We are always thinking about new opportunities.
Okay. What I think is very interesting, if you go into the app, you have a lot of editors talking, for example. You have Zoominia, for example, the film now that is introduced, and they are on camera, and they are talking. I'd really like to know, beside the paper, how important is now to have a feel and a look of the editors behind and getting their voices in literally, not only typing.
Yeah.
On the website, for example, if you then go into FAZ Plus.
I didn't get you right. Okay. I'm afraid.
If I go onto the website, I see a lot of editors, for example, and they're talking to the camera. For example, there's a film coming in. So how important is that to bridge to the audience, to create relationships with the consumers, that you really get the person into the picture? Yeah.
So these are first attempts in this direction. We don't have too much experience with that, because producing this content is quite pricey. So we don't do very much of it. So it might have the impression that there is a lot, but really it is not really, no.
Talking target groups, do you want to have young people and they have to spend 40 euros, which is quite a bit of money if you get everything else free on the net, or too much. Yeah. What is the core target group? Where do you start that you want to have young people? Is it the age of, are we talking 25 or less? Or what do you think is the entrance
No,
age?
If we talk about young, we don't mean those 25s usually. We more tend to mean those 35s that are young if you come from a print subscriber's perspective. It depends on the point of view you look at it. No, we call them the young elites. So high educated or being in a high education process, willing to pay for quality content they can rely on. And if you make up your mind what you pay for an iPhone or for many other things in your life that are much more higher expensive than this, we think it's still worth it, because it makes no sense to make it for free because then we couldn't pay our editors anymore. So there's no alternative. You could strip down the product, perhaps. This is an opportunity that we haven't done this before, but maybe we will do in the future. You can strip it down and make it a little lighter and lower the price. But if you want the full content of the editorial stuff that has a head count of 400, so you will have to pay for that. If you want to drive a Porsche, you won't get it for the price of a Smart.
Walking by feet, yeah, really. Mr. Kirschke, do you want to share your knowledge of Agfa with us for a second?
Of course.
In that collaboration.
Of course. Yeah, a 140-years-old company like Agfa, maybe one of you knows still the Agfa rhombus. So our DNA is workflow management, or to manage content. That's the main focus of our solution, and that's also as we see us more as a Sherpa who carries your content to the Mount Everest, which is absolutely necessary, as Thomas already said. So the constant flow of information that has to be really spread over devices, web editions, whatever. And so therefore our main responsibility is really the integration, is migration to existing systems, and then to automate with everything, aggregation services, analytics, which is the base ground, I mean, for any personalization in the future. If you don't implement the real analytics in the whole thing, so you will lose, because you don't get really notice of the behavior of your end users. So that was our decision in Agfa, to go really like a kind of startup in a completely new range with much faster development cycles. But we see so that's absolutely a need, because the content, we don't care about the content. That's not our responsibility. That's your publisher's content. But you need that Sherpa system to come to the Mount Everest. Nobody went ever alone on the Mount Everest without people carrying something, and we carry content. That's our main purpose.
What can you give us some insight? What has been core for a fruitful collaboration in your situation? So, what were obstacles that you had overcome? What has been the biggest learning in your individual learning curve in that collaboration? I learned since March last year you are really properly developing it. So maybe you can share your insights that are highly valued, maybe by the others, to follow you.
Shall I start?
Sure.
Okay, it's not always easy to work with a newspaper or media editorial stuff, as we know, and one of the most the most precious experiences, I think, is to see that there is no standard that fits for all. You will have to individualize brand by brand and paper by paper, magazine by magazine, some certain things of such an edition, such a technology, and the way you publish it. But what is the core common topic, an issue that you always have to be behind, is do it as highly automated as possible. So this is what brought us together, and this is what I think is the most worthy part of the collaboration, is to run after this automation thing, because if you try to publish such an edition day by day by hand manually, you will need about 10 or more people on the editorial side, and you will need a lot of people supervising the process of publishing on the technology side. So that's what we don't need with this technology yet, and that we'll never do, I hope, because that was the reason why we chose it.
You are not talking figures, no. Not much. Not even how many users you want to have by the end of the year? You would like to have? No, okay.
In millions.
Your learning curve.
That picture shows, I think, a lot. So on the left side you have the automation, on the right side you have entertainment, you have emotion, whatever. And the real challenge is to combine both things. We need the high automation, otherwise you are lost. Otherwise you cannot publish whatever every hour if you have the content for. And to combine the beautiness of the app, With that automation, I would say that's the biggest challenge, because on both sides there are always demands that it can look much more fancy, but at the end you have some breaking points where you say, okay, at that you have to stop. The automation then gets worse because your content is much fancy than before, or too much overloaded with things. So I think that picture I always like to show this also to our R&D department, to say this is a challenge. We have to view both things. We are at Agfa in a business to consumer, which is again new for us, because you as an end user, you see our product with the content, of course, of a publisher, but we are also being fully responsible in the business-to-business area for that automation, for data handling, cloud hosting, etc. I think this will be also the challenge in the future, and there we will also make mistakes together with our customers. We will have learning curves. We have some blue eyes beaten, but nevertheless, I mean, we know and we see that the progress is positive, and it gives the right to us to really further going on in that development, and this is kind of both pictures to keep everybody satisfied. That's a big challenge, I have to say.
Before going on, I would share your questions with us here. Yeah, can you make yourself visible? Yeah, we have a mic in the room. Please introduce yourself just quickly.
Markus Schöberl from PV Digest. Mr. Schultz-Homberg, one question. You said you're targeting, or you're trying to target a new group. But the app is it's the same content, it's the same structure, it's the same prioritization as the printed paper. So how can you target a new target group when it's basically the same content?
We are quite confident that the content fits more than one target group if they are willing to read it. Because I think the most important challenge in the first attempt is not to reinvent content and to format content in a new way and to write even extra new stuff. If I would do that, I would have that HR problem that I mentioned. I think the first attempt is, and the most important attempt with this product is that we try to find a new way to tell the things we tell on the traditional paper. Yes, it's the same, right? And we were going onto this path knowing that this is the same content. But what we want to lower is the odds that people have to come over to get a paper or even a digital paper. That's so old school. If you have a nice app that looks a little multimedia, you are more willing to engage with contents as if you have that what to your imagination as a young elite member maybe look like very old school. And if you look at our smartphone app, Der Tag, which has the same content as Faznet has, it's a very, very huge success as well. People are higher engaged with that than they are on Faznet because they could get a new form, a new way of storytelling, of experience. I think it's a lot about experience and not so much about the content.
Can I add do you have a last question from your part? If not for the moment, I may conclude with a question that runs with your question. Do you think, talking future, about engaging your consumers in a different way than you do in the moment? What will that be like?
If I knew that.
Okay. And very last question, the agency you're working with is Jung von Matt.
Yeah.
How core is it, do you think, to the success of the product to have an agency which is absolutely top of the pops in visualization, in storytelling, and so on, in the collaborative mode of your pyramid, all three together?
Since we have them done as well, Der Tag, the smartphone app, I think it's very important to have a very high quality shape for the product, and so quality layout costs some money, of course, but I think it's very important. Yeah, because we want 40 euros. That's what you asked some minutes ago. We want 40 euros, so we will want to have an excellent experience for the people. And experience is not only about usability or clicking here and there. Experience is about what comes to your eye if you open an app, how the way it is, the way the edition it is built inside of you. I think this is very important. Yeah.
Okay, I wish you a big success. Thank you very much for sharing with us your insights, and see you within the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you.